Flag this.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Hear This podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are excited to have the one and only Pastor Lasejo
What's up,
on the
guys?
podcast today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful, guys.
Good.
I am so glad that I joined you guys. I've watched you guys consistently, like on my Thursdays.
Thank
know.
you.
I got you guys.
I've been waiting for you to come on as a guest. It just makes my heart so happy.
You know, I kind of kept that as a secret. Like, I hope they ask me one day. You know, like, I love the guests. It's been amazing. You've had amazing guests with
He really
amazing-
paid us $20 last week. He's like,
Seriously?
Pastor Zach.
I was like, psst, Zach, let me on. Yeah. Well, it's good to be with you guys.
Oh, we're glad to hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, we know you guys can't see it, but it is a full house in here today.
Yeah.
We got Nora.
Yep. Nora gets a second shout out.
Yeah.
Which is Tony's niece.
Uh-huh.
And then we have the one and only Caleb and Levi Hampton. Go click subscribe to Caleb's Outdoor Adventure and
Boom.
Levi's hardcore parkour. And so, yeah. And who else do we have? Tyson. Introduce the rest of the people in the room.
Tyson.
We got Jackson on the mic and
Oh, yeah.
Tyson on the mic.
Dude, your voice is a little creepy today.
Yeah, I'm just
If you can
just
turn your
really-
creep factor down.
Like,
Sorry, I just came from recording a calming meditation podcast. So
Hey,
really
I
in the
like those.
zone.
Chill.
You need to do like a Mike Tyson impression, and we can call you Iron Mike or something. I don't know.
Oh no.
I pity the fool.
yeah, that's Mike Tyson. Yeah,
That was
yeah,
not Mike
yeah,
Tyson.
No, we all know. We know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Alrighty. Well, hey, Pastor Laseo, thank you so much once again for joining us. We're
Thanks for
glad
having
you're
me,
here
guys.
today.
Yeah.
We're excited to hear your story
Yeah.
a little bit. And but before we dive into your story,
Uh-huh.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Lesego Shibambo. I have been actually in Idaho here for 2 years. I'm originally from South Africa. Going back to the first part, my full name actually is Elaine Lesego Shibambo.
I was hoping you were gonna say your full name. I was like, that's not your full
I'm
name.
not-
Yeah, you were just like, oh.
I was judging you.
You leave me
Mhm.
some information.
I'm not
out.
gonna
Yep.
lie. When I first met you via Facebook, I'm like, his name's Elaine.
Elaine?
What?
Elaine?
Like everyone's calling him Laseo. Like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on with that?
So, quick, like story behind that. I love the name Elaine. You know, I was in first grade and I used the name for about 3 months, and from all the teasing and from all the like, isn't that a girl's name? I was like, okay.
People
all right,
are jerks.
Let's use the other name. Let's say
Dude, first grade's rough.
kids. I'm just really mean.
It was the best.
Uh-huh.
It was the best 2 years of my life, though.
I enjoyed my childhood, but
Thank you,
kids.
Tyson. Tony just got it.
Okay, I'm left out. I feel left out. I'm just gonna smile and laugh.
See, the joke
He
there
said
is
it was
that
the best 2 years of his life. First grade.
Oh,
You got it.
I got.
Zach
I
spent
like-
2 years in
yeah.
the first grade.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyson. Thanks, Mike. Got you. Yeah. Grew up in South Africa for most of my life. You know, I came to Christ very much later in my teen years. Actually, I turned 18 when I gave my life to Christ, and yeah, I've had a good childhood. You know, I really enjoyed a lot of my childhood. You know, and I'm one of the few that's like, I know I've met a lot of people who are just like, yo, high school just really sucked. I love
Yeah.
high school. My closest group of friends, I have 5 friends that I grew up with from like the 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And I've seen them grow, and I've just we're
That's
we're
cool.
so close, and they're like my brothers, you know.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
Yeah,
Are you still connected with them
I'm still connected with
social
them. In fact,
media?
I messaged them like this morning, like, hey, how you guys
about the
doing?
podcast? Be like, you guys.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll drop you the link.
Do we
That's
get
awesome.
a third and fourth guest today?
Well,
FaceTime?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If they read my messages, you might get an additional 4
Okay.
5 other subscribers. So
That's awesome.
So-
So in honor of Caleb Hampton being in the room today,
yeah.
are you a city boy? Did you grow up in a big city or
Oh.
like?
Oh, so I have my childhood's kind of a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Because where I was born is totally country, right?
Okay. Like how
And-
big of a city?
He
Like,
said country.
I said country.
Oh, sorry.
Country. We moved to a city and we just bounced between the both. I'm more of a city
Gotcha.
boy.
Yeah?
I'm more of a city boy. I like the
Okay.
outdoors. That's why I really love Idaho.
Mhm.
It's just never a shortage of things to do outside.
Ooh.
You know, like we could be doing this podcast outside. That's how outdoor Idaho is.
Mhm.
You know. It's
I
okay.
agree with you. I mean, I've lived here for 10 years,
Yeah.
and it's the first time that I've ever been to Lucky Peak.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
I've been to,
Never
like,
been there before.
Lucky Peak 3 times.
And wow.
The first time I was ever at Lucky Peak was for the Ironman, and it was like swimming in that that I never trained
Brutal.
for.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
And it was cold.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cold.
Luckily, I was in a wetsuit.
Yeah.
That helped.
And the guy who helped you on the water.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
kayak.
That's a cool story.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you in high school? Did you play sports? What did you do for fun?
Yeah. I played a lot of sports. In fact, I did athletics. Like I did 100-meter, 200-meter dash sprints,
Oh.
and I started doing that like from a young age because I was
Wait, so
fast.
in South Africa, do they call is athletics like track and field?
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. You know, yeah. That's one thing that I keep running into. I have like certain terminologies
Totally.
for things.
Yeah.
And then people are just like, "Do you mean this?" I'm just like, "Yes."
I was like, I'm
Yes.
athletic, but I did not do that.
"Yes, yeah, yeah." It's
Like, that sounds like the worst athletic to do is
Yeah.
100 meter sprint. Ooh.
Yeah, I was just naturally fast, and a lot of my friends also did it, so I just did it. I played a lot of soccer. Soccer's my favorite sport. In fact, I'm going to clear something up here. It's
Oh,
not
no.
soccer. It's football. It's football. Thank you.
I
Best team in the world, Arsenal. English team.
You're talking to
Yeah.
people who don't know soccer
I like
very
I
well.
like football too. I like the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Hey, me too. Go Seahawks.
Wow.
I
wow.
I just
Hey,
hope
great.
there's a football season. What about you?
Eh, I'm waiting. I at this point will not be surprised if there was one, or if there isn't one. I'll just be like, I'm still getting into like football, like
Yeah.
your football, like American football, NFL.
Our football?
Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into it. Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah, it's complicated.
yeah. But it's have you seen a rugby game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Rugby games are much more intense, and people are on the field more. Like, you get on the field for like a couple seconds in the NFL, and it's like, oh, play, flag, yeah, good job, guys. I'm just like,
I think if I were ever to step foot
Uh-huh.
on a rugby field,
uh-huh.
I would die.
You think that
I would get trampled within seconds, and I'd give up. I'm done.
the nicest people in the world are people who play rugby?
I don't know if I believe you.
No!
I've never met a rugby player. So I'm like, sounds good to me. I'm sure they're all nice. Like they just want to kill you.
Once you meet one, you'll never forget it because
Yeah.
they'll be like so nice and courteous and
Find me a rugby player.
I've just seen like
Do they
Done.
exist in Idaho?
done.
I've just seen like the New Zealand All Blacks play. Like it seems like
second in the world.
the only time they're on is like for the finals.
Yeah,
And
and then South Africa. Beats
I look
them.
at those guys and I'm like, they don't look very nice.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm totally judging,
That's,
but
that's true.
Yeah,
Come
we
on.
won the Rugby World Cup early this year. We beat the All Blacks in the finals.
Ooh.
go South
Proud.
Africa.
Come on, the
There
Springboks.
you
Come
go.
on, come on.
So, Pastor Liceo, I agree with you. High school was the best 4 years of my life.
Yeah.
I loved it, but you couldn't pay me enough to go back
That's right.
nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
I seriously, I'm happy with my memories. I want to keep them that
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It's
But-
like they're good there.
Yeah.
They're good there.
When
yeah.
you think of your high school career,
Uh-huh.
what was your favorite subject?
My favorite subject actually was art. I think art.
Are you an artist?
So I grew up drawing and sketching.
Dude, this is a hidden talent. I had no
I didn't
idea.
know this
Let's see your
either.
artwork.
When we get the chance, I'll show it to you guys.
Okay.
I'll honestly like show it to you guys and show you my skill. But I
Mhm.
just lost interest
Mm.
because I don't know. I had it was just like I drew a picture for someone, like a portrait for their
Uh-huh.
birthday.
Yeah.
And this was someone that meant really a lot to me. It was
Uh-huh.
someone in
Mm.
my family. And they took the picture and they were just like, "Hey, do I look that ugly?" And it
Oh,
crushed
no
me.
way.
It crushed me. So I have
Oh.
like permanent drawer's block, like a writer's block.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
every time I pick up a pencil, I keep thinking of that moment. I'm just like,
Oh, that's the
Dude.
worst.
That is terrible.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's a trauma that I'm working through. So.
Is it bad that I know they're a part of your family, but I kind of want to slap that person in the face for you?
I would not be mad. It would be one of those things like if I turned back.
Oh, I would do it.
And I saw someone in pain, I'd be like, oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Wait, just kidding. My niece is here. Violence is not the answer.
Yeah, Nora, don't listen to.
Violence
don't
is
listen
not
to
the
Tony.
answer.
Yeah,
Slapping is never okay.
Nope.
So, Pastor Liceo,
Yeah.
I'm learning more and more about art as
Mhm.
Brittany's diving into her career and all
She's
that.
an amazing artist,
Oh,
by the way.
thank
Follow
you.
her on Instagram.
She's the
Uh,
best.
Yeah.
What type of art did you enjoy drawing? Like, what was
Yeah.
like your technique? Some of those things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
You
more
see,
of a
he's trying to use all the art words. He's
Uh-huh.
trying.
Yeah, he's just like,
You know.
what's the cadence? What's
yeah,
the
you know, I'm more of an abstract guy.
Yeah,
you know,
Did you
throw some
sketch
paint
or
out-
did
yeah.
you illustrate? Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my first loves, in fact, Passage have talked about one of his first like movies and like comic books. I grew up reading comic books,
Mm.
and I watched like Dragon Ball Z. I watched anime. So that
Pokemon.
Pokemon was like, it was there, but I was more like Dragon Ball Z. 4 o'clock, I would run home to go watch it at 5 o'clock.
I think
in
we've
South
talked about
Africa.
this before because
Yeah.
Adam watches Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's the best show. It's the
I've
best
never watched
show.
a single episode.
It's like you need to do yourself a favor and just
And-
watch Dragon Ball Z. You need to sit down in one setting and just watch Dragon Ball Z. It's amazing. And
You-
so watching all of that, sorry, Tony.
Go ahead. No,
Oh.
you're good.
Yeah, just looking at comic books, watching anime just inspired me to like draw characters that I really liked. And I was more of like a illustrator, you know. I would like take stills from comic books and just retrace that. And I got really good. I had friends who were just like, hey, could you draw this for me? Draw that for me? And then my friends got into drawing and we all drew at the same time. And so they actually created like a comic book on soccer players,
Oh,
like football players. And I kind of helped them out with a few pictures. It was really cool.
that's
way cool.
awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It
I've
was
always
fun.
wanted to draw.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit jealous.
It's not too late to learn.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
What a good perspective.
Just YouTube free resource right there.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So going back to the whole soccer football thing.
Yeah.
I just thought of this when you started talking about your friends.
Uh-huh.
Are they gonna make fun of you when you're talking with them and you're like, yeah, soccer is the best, and they're gonna be like, what happened to Liceo?
They're gonna be like, "Oh, you lost your ways. You have lost your roots. What is going on
They're like,
with you?"
Elaine,
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
Shababo,
"Hey,
come on.
hey." And even with that, I have a home name that only family uses. But once my friends,
What is
heard
that?
Shoshi.
Short.
Shoshi.
What's that mean?
I don't know. My grandparents gave me that name since I was like, I was less than a year old, and they just called me that. And
That's awesome.
It's spelled Shoshi. Shoshi.
Shoshi.
That's
Shoshi.
cool.
If you ever see my parents
Yeah.
or hear them interact with me, they don't call me Liseho. They call me, hey, Shoshi. Or Shosh.
Oh, so your
Aw.
friends will call you that?
Yeah, to be that little facetious, like,
Oh.
oh, Shoshi.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
Why I order?
so speaking of names,
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think there's power in names.
For sure.
Like we talk about that all
Very
the
true.
time, right? There's power in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
to get spiritualized, sorry.
Amen.
But I was doing a little digging
Uh-huh.
and
What did you find? What did you find?
I
I didn't do it. I didn't do it, guys.
I found the meaning of your name. Oh,
Yeah.
I just got a leg cramp. I've been running.
You're in good
But-
shape, man. You're
Thank
looking
you.
good.
Lasejo.
Yeah.
It means lucky or blessing.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How does that fit into like your life? Like
Mm-hmm.
just in a quick.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a great question. I guess it started.
Maybe do you believe that? Like
Yeah. Even before I could ever believe it or ever kind of comprehend what my name meant. Excuse me. The narrative of how my name was given to me was the fact there were complications during birth, and there was an umbilical cord around my neck, and labor was super long. My mom told me, and apparently, like it was like pretty like bleak, and people were just like, if he makes it out of here, it'll be something. You know, I honestly, if there was one little thing that went wrong, I shouldn't be here. I wouldn't have been here in front of you guys. And so as I was born a little prematurely, like a couple days before my my
Due date.
determined the due date. And the doctors kind of told like my mom, the doctors told my mom like, you have like this boy is lucky to be alive, you know. And so my mom was like, like I like that.
Mhm.
Lucky. And then from one of the languages in South Africa, Setswana, Lesego is with luck or with blessing. So it's like my first entry into the world was, oh, you are absolutely lucky to be
Dude,
here. You
that's-
know?
Well, I didn't
That's
think I was
awesome.
gonna cry today on the podcast, but here we
it's
are.
intense. And
Dude, that's
I can
awesome.
I can't stop hearing that story. It's really awesome.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
And I believe it. Yeah.
You're a blessing, man, to
Thank
so
you.
many people. and
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, Pastor Zach and
We're-
Tony.
We're
Appreciate
so
you
glad to
guys.
have you here at Tree City
Yeah.
Church and,
Yeah,
and
it
whatnot.
is. You guys have been amazing. Your hospitality has been phenomenal, and I've been more blessed by learning and just being amongst you guys. So appreciate you guys.
Tony, does your name mean anything?
I was gonna ask you about yours. I do know my name.
No
Yeah.
What
pressure.
it means. It means priceless.
Oh, mic drop.
What does your name mean?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know. Like,
Jackson, Tyson, get on it.
Get on
What
it.
does
yeah.
Zachary
we
mean?
we need like the
Yeah.
definition like right here. 3, 2, 1.
I just know I was named after my dad, one of my dad's really good friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, nothing. I think, like, you look at biblical,
Yeah.
like when they have significant encounters with God, their
Uh-huh.
name changes. And I wish to some degree we'd get back to some of that a little bit. And
Yeah.
just like speaking that truth, that boldness, and empowering people to live into their name and
Like
who
a
they
new
are.
name.
And
yeah.
what do we got, Tyson?
The name Zachary is of Hebrew origin,
Ooh.
meaning Yahweh remembers,
Oh,
from the verb
okay.
zachar.
So that is what my name means.
Zahar. I love
The
that.
Lord
Thank you.
remembers.
Look
Yahweh
at this
remembers.
panel of
Wow.
names. Oh, this is great, guys.
Wow.
Wow. I feel like we're the Avengers of great names or something.
That's right.
Should be a show.
So, Tony, high school teacher.
Hey.
Yes.
What's your favorite grade to teach?
Okay, I'll tell you my favorite grade as long as I can also tell you my worst grade to teach.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
snap. The T.
I'm going to start with my worst grade, though.
Huh.
The worst grade to teach is sophomores.
Because
15-year-olds?
sophomores means stupid person,
No,
right?
and I'm sorry, but 15-year-old boys
Disclaimer.
are the worst. There's something about that age where it's like they're like over the everything is new and I'm a freshman and everything's kind of
and
exciting.
they're like too cool.
And they're too cool,
They're
and they're
like,
too cool for you, too cool for everything. But
Uh-huh.
like conversely, my favorite grade to teach is juniors, because
Huh.
by the time they're like 17, they're a little bit older. You can have deeper conversations with them. You can get a little bit more in depth. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of that. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm gonna get interrupted here. No.
The name sophomore comes from Greek words for both wise and fool.
No way.
Stupid person.
That's actually
Namesake.
accurate. That's exactly what
But-
it feels like to teach sophomores.
but when you break through that wall, you'll
Yeah.
never forget that you were the one in the midst. Because think about how many teachers are just like, "Oh, you're a sophomore. Ew. Like, you think you're too cool. Ew."
By
But
the
you're
end
that
of their
person.
sophomore year, though, they're good.
Yeah. Once you
they're
break through that wall
they're-
of coolness, then they'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I had teachers, but then I had that one teacher,
Yeah. Yeah.
Type 7, ENFP,
Ooh.
Tony Lyon, who just spoke a life
Oh,
into
I
me."
thought you were gonna say your own teacher.
Yeah.
No. I'm just you're awesome.
Zach, what was your worst grade ever?
Oh, my worst.
Not your
grade?
best. I want to hear like the worst grade. Like you would never go back and repeat that grade
Those
for
2 years
whatever
of first
reason. A
grade?
teacher,
Oh, dude.
puberty, whatever it was.
Sixth grade.
Sixth
by
grade?
far.
No, wait, what happened? Why?
Dude, no lie.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, I'm scared.
I've grown 3/4 of an inch.
Uh-huh.
Sixth grade. So this is about how tall I was.
No.
Like I was like
Oh,
full
you a
on
grown
shady.
man.
Like people made fun
You
of
were
me.
one of those like little weirdo kids
Yes,
who was a man child.
Yes,
Like
like
the teachers eye to eye.
yeah, like I would play athletics, and people were like, "Who is this like 20-year-old
College kid.
Yeah, seriously. Like I was literally shaving in the 6th grade.
Oh.
And
no.
The worst part about all of this is, as everyone knows, I'm extremely loud,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and
Were you deaf then?
I've always been deaf. I'm hard of hearing, and yeah, the whole voice thing.
Yeah.
Voice
it was
changing?
like a year-long process, and
If
Miss
I,
Granger, can I go to the bathroom? It's like, whoa, Zach, why are you shy?
I think I would
Yeah.
give anything to hear a voice clipping of your cute little 6th grade
no,
weird voice.
No one, seriously, it was. it was a dark time. Like seriously, it was terrible.
Harold Senior, where you at?
He'll be here this weekend.
Can't want to hear that.
Checking Facebook
That's
now.
terrible.
Checking Facebook. Please don't.
Yeah. Going all the way in those memories, deep
Yeah.
down in that void.
Okay, let's say you get
My
both
turn.
questions. You get what was your
Oh.
favorite grade
Oh,
and what was your worst grade.
my favorite grade was the 7th grade.
Mm.
So the way the schooling structure happens in South Africa is primary school is 1st grade to 7th grade,
Okay.
and high school is 8th to 12th.
Okay.
That's how basic it is. You guys have like different categories and stuff. I'm still even trying like, what's a junior high at? What's a
We like to overcomplicate things.
yeah.
Junior high is where nobody wants to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, junior high is right there.
Yeah.
It gets better. It gets better. Favorite grade, 7th grade, because it was like the year before high school.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
finishing up.
You're the
with your
king of the
friends.
school.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
You're like
yeah.
the main guy. You know, everyone's like, oh, look at him. It was fun. It was a really fun year, and I had a good time with my friends. The worst grade for me, was actually the 11th grade. At this point, I was in a semi-private Christian school, a Baptist Christian school, and we had about 5 students. My graduating class was 3 people. I was one of 3 graduates.
No way.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was a smaller school, but like people just like left, and it was just us 3 looking at each other in class, and it was just like, oh,
We
look
could
at
be our own
us.
classroom there, like us.
Basically,
Yeah.
Basically, it was 2 guys and 1 girl, and we went to
There we go.
our prom. Was a dinner with our teachers. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's precious.
Yeah. That's the, and our parents like walked us in. I was trying to advocate for dates. I was like, guys, it's the 3 of us. We should get dates or something. And they were just like, nope. We should just go as a crew, which was fun. And our parents walked us in. We took photos, and they left, and we sat with our teachers, and we were just like, yeah, school, huh? It's done, right? Okay, can I have the fish?
Ooh, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights. The reason why the 11th grade was my worst year was that was kind of the year where we found out 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, our grades we found out just weren't marked correctly. So we had to do 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade work in the 11th grade with 11th grade on top of that.
What subject?
Whoa.
Math, like sciences and biology.
So like the hardest subjects
So,
anyway.
so basically the whole of school, basically all on top of everything. And our teachers really worked really hard with us, but it was just stressful. It was,
oh gosh.
everyone was at that point was just like done. Like, I just want this grade
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
over with. You
Yeah.
know?
Seriously.
Yeah.
At that point, everyone was just like, I just want to pass. I want to get out of here.
I'm done.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And part of that was the school side, and the living situation that I had at the house was also pretty challenging because that year it was myself, my younger brother living with my mom's parents. My mom would live there, and it was like my uncles, my aunt, my grandparents, my younger brother, my mom, and I living in a house. And my dad lived separately. My mom and dad are divorced, and my dad would pick us up from school and drop us off like every single day. And one day, like there's a specific route. Like this is the route you take to school. This is the route you take home. I remember one day, it was like early in the week, like Tuesday or Wednesday. My dad picked us up, and there was a lot of stuff in the car. And obviously, I was just like, I didn't pay any attention or any more to that, you know. So got in the car, we took this like the opposite route going home, and I was just like, oh, where are we going? My dad was like, well, you guys are gonna stay with me, because the house that you guys lived in was kind of taken away from the bank. There was a whole debacle with finances and handling of all of that. So the house that I lived in for a couple of years, that was gone. And so everyone was kind of scrabbling to find a place, and my mom was just like, can you please take the boys? And so we landed up going to live with my dad. And the living arrangement, my dad was a resident DJ for this club, and it had a hotel next to it. And we were in a 1-bedroom hotel room, basically almost the size of this, with a bed here, with the kitchen in front there, the bathroom in the corner and the front door, and so we shared a bed for like a couple months. It sucked.
Man, that's
Jeez.
That sucked. That sucked. Honestly.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. Yeah. And even with that, transitioning into my senior year, there was one day where we drove home and we went to the place, went to our room, and we were basically told that we don't have a house anymore because my dad lost the job at the place. Like there was some sort of competitor that took his spot, and so the room was obviously attached to the job, so we had no house. And so they were just like, you have by the end of the day to like get out this place or else we'll kick you out, you know. And so stuff was being escorted outside by guys. We're packing our car, and it was just kind of like, where do we go from here, you know? This is kind of like the second time my living arrangement or house was just kind of taken away from us, you know. And I remember that day I took some time just to walk and just to get away from the stressful situation. I'd known about God. The school that I went to was a Baptist school, and we had Bible as a subject, but I didn't have a relationship with God. And I remember that day just kind of praying to God like, man, if you are real, this would be a great time to show up. This would be amazing if you just let me know, hey, just help any way you can. Got into the car, started driving. My dad actually got in contact with an old friend of his who happened to be a manager of like a Christian conference center. And we found out that place was connected to a college, which was the Nazarene Theological College. And he basically got in contact with my dad, and he was like, you know, if you come to the house, you guys have a place to stay. We need a role for someone who's going to do sound engineering at the conference center. So he got a housing job on the spot. And then we later found that he was a pastor of a Nazarene church in Johannesburg. And because out of kind of gratitude, my dad had a conversation with us, and he was like, I think the least we can do is actually go to his church and just say thank you. It's a nice gesture. Yeah. And we had no doubts about that. We were like, let's go. And that was like my first time staying consistently in a church, and what's there where I heard the gospel and gave my life to Christ later that year, and it was amazing. Yeah. And you know the crazy thing about it, my natural abilities to kind of take situations and see the positive out of it, type 7, right? Amen.
What's up, Laseo?
I see you guys. And at the end of the day, yes, all those situations sucked, you know, but that's growth, you know. I think it's not to say God is orchestrating all these things. Oh, you're gonna go through that sucky time so you can get to that place, but God can use it for His good. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's one of the main themes through all of that is just like growth is so uncomfortable, it's so inconvenient, and it's so sacrificing, you know. But when you get through it, you're like, during it, it's sore, it's painful, it kind of feels hopeless. Oh yeah. You got a cramp on the podcast just a couple minutes ago. You know, kind of sucks. You know, it
does.
But you get to a point when you look back where you were and you're just like, oh, that was so worth it. Or I totally get why I had to go through all of that. I totally get why all the things that have happened, the things that I've seen, the things that there was some things that I was just like, shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be speaking into this mic. But God's grace somehow took that, and good was made from all of that, you know. And without being kicked out from our house or being kicked out of a 1-bedroom hotel, I don't think I would have a relationship with Christ. I don't think I would be at the place here, you know. So it's amazing. It was one of the best years and the worst years of my life. It was intense. It was crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy what can happen when, like you said, there's times of growing, right?
Yeah.
But when you choose to say, like, yes, I will take this time and I will try to make something good out of it, or God, I will allow you
Yeah.
to like help me grow instead of
Yeah.
resisting.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I think during some of those hard times you can absolutely like shut down. I know that that's one of my instincts is just
Yeah,
shut
just
down
shut
when
it
hard
down and-
things happen and not grow. But if you allow yourself and you say, yes, I will use this as a time where I can grow, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Thanks for that insight. That's
My challenge with those things is like, how am I viewing it?
Yeah.
Like,
Tell us more.
by nature, I'm a very skeptical,
What?
glasses like half empty
No.
type of person. I'm not like you guys where you like where you're like yeah,
everything's great.
yeah, you know. And so for me, it's like remembering when I'm in those situations of growth that like what are the lessons I can
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
and trying to develop kingdom eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And perspective,
Mhm.
Yeah.
frankly. You know, often my bad days, someone else wish they could be have that just for their best day, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
for me, it's just remembering that this will pass.
Oh.
But also, you know, trying to find the silver lining
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
some of those experiences.
Yeah. And oftentimes you can't find it in the midst of it. It's
No.
only after you've
Mhm.
cleared through it and you and often kind of the prayers like I wish this could go away, but it's
Mhm.
like sometimes it just doesn't go away, and sometimes the work is the growing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the struggling, the going through the hard times,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you're fortified, you're strengthened, or you just get insight like, you know what, that's where I need to do better, you
Mhm.
know. And even while talking about the like 11th grade and senior year, like thinking about our seniors, you know, and what this year has brought to them,
Yeah.
like it sucks, guys,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know, but it will come to pass, and you
Mhm.
will look back and kind of gain some insight like I understand why I had to go through that.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's so hard, you know, but
Mhm.
when you do, it gives you so much, it gives you steps ahead of like I've been through that now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, and you like the only way from that is to go forward.
Yeah.
Totally.
It is, and you guys will get there. We
Shout
love
out
you
to
guys.
Frozen 2.
Frozen 2.
I think about this quote a lot.
Never seen any of the Frozens, by the way.
Okay, you're missing out on Frozen 2. Do love a good Frozen 2. Jones, where are you at? There's a part where the main character's going through a hard thing, and she's like, when everything sucks, I have the voice of, I think it was like her dad saying,
Mufasa.
you just, no, not Mufasa.
That's
like,
the best Disney movie.
You
Lion
do,
King.
like, you do the next right thing. You take one step forward, even if it's just one small step that you
Yeah.
know is in the right direction, then
Uh-huh.
that's enough when it's a really, like when things are bad.
Yeah.
And I think about that a lot. I tell my kids that at school. I was like, well, what's just the next right thing that you
Yeah.
can do during
Uh-huh.
this really hard time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always have to remember too, like, of God's faithfulness in the
Mhm.
like.
Sure.
It's so hard to see out of the circumstance, but the importance of remembering. I
Mhm.
think that's
Mm.
something we often lose as people.
Mm-hmm.
Is we have such short-term memory
Mm.
that we forget and we don't always remember
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
it's going to be all right. That
Come
there
on.
is a way out, and just some of those things.
Yeah.
And so I think the challenge for us is like when we're in the midst of those seasons, those times, and I think for many of us,
Yeah.
like we're exiting hopefully one of those seasons that's been dark and challenging.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But what are we doing to remember
Hmm.
in the midst of it all?
Full circle. What does your name mean?
Yahweh remembers.
Oh,
Right? this stuff just doesn't happen, you know? It just it just came across as
Trilogy right
There's a
here.
reason.
This is
There's
it.
a reason for names, and it's
Yeah.
powerful.
Totally.
Yeah.
So cool. Pastor Lisejo, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and this isn't the end of Pastor Lisejo. A couple weeks ago,
What?
we talked
it's not your end.
we talked about doing a mini series, and we're looking forward to that. The three of us have actually we're meeting to continue to chart it out, and so stay tuned. And
Please do,
we're
guys.
shooting for August to
Oh.
talk about
Birthday month.
Birthday month. Yeah. The idea of race.
Birthday month.
Come on.
And
Birthday month.
how do we respond?
Yep.
And ultimately, how do we be Jesus followers?
Yeah.
You know, in the
Mm.
midst of all of this.
that-
And how do we point people to Jesus? And so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, those are going to be crucial conversations, and I'm excited to have that with you both. And thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, at home. Subscribe, tell your friends, share.
Don't forget
on.
Caleb's Outdoor Adventure
Come
Boom.
on.
and
Levi's Hardcore Parkour.
sure.
Hardcore
Okay.
parkour.
Is that who our sponsor is today?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael Scott.
Cool. Well, thank you once again for tuning in. If you only heard one, maybe two things this morning, remember this evening, afternoon, whatever it is, that God is faithful.
Yeah.
But there's also a God that loves you so very much.
Yeah.
And just like Pastor Lesejo's story, God wants to get a hold of your life
For sure.
and totally transform and wreck you for the better.
sure.
And so there's a God that loves you, and there's a church and youth staff that love you so very much.
We
Have a
love
great
you.
week.
Bye, guys.